I'd like to start by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the land from which I'm speaking to you from today. I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians across the state and across the country. I'd like to acknowledge elders past, present, and emerging. Hi everyone, I'm Asha Zappa from WayAhead, and I have the fabulous job of being the coordinator of the Mental Health Matters Awards. Welcome to our live Q&A with this year's Mental Health Matters Rainbow Inclusion Award winners. Before we get started, don't forget that you can add your questions for our winners and special guest in the comments. We love hearing from you and love hearing your questions, so please include them. Today, our special guest is from the sponsor of this award, ACON. So please join me in welcoming from our winners' queer family, Holly Ralph and Aidan Gentle, and from ACON, Sarah Lambert. Hi, welcome, congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the recognition, and thank you so much for having us here to chat about it.
It's an absolute honour. To start with, could you all introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your roles?
So my name's Aidan Gentle, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm the Managing Director at Queer Family in the Northern Rivers.
My name's Holly Ralph, my pronouns are she, her. I'm on the Management Committee of Queer Family and am a participant of Queer Family.
I'm Sarah Lambert, Director of Community Health and Regional Services at ACON, and we're thrilled to be involved with the awards again this year and really pleased to be celebrating the winners who we've had a bit of involvement with, so it's really exciting.
Fantastic. So thank you all for joining us. To get the Q&A section started, can you tell us a little bit about what inspired the creation of Queer Family?
You're going to love this. It was Mental Health Month. So, so last year I was doing some pro bono work for a small community organisation in Mullumbimby called Shedding, and I was aware of the WayAhead Mental Health Association through my work as a social worker over the last 20 years. And I helped them design a project where we built a giant rainbow. And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And we had more than 60 people turn up. There were children there, there were dogs there. It was a gorgeous day out in Mullum. In typical Northern Rivers fashion, it was a beautiful event. And we created this rainbow, and I interviewed everybody who turned up. And what I found from the interviews were there was these consistent stories. There were stories of this joy and hope and this beautiful, beautiful queer-run, queer-led event. But also concurrently, there were stories of isolation and loneliness and, this need to have more things like this in our region. So from that, I started talking more with the community, and we started Queer Family, and we just started putting on events. And that's actually how Holly came on board, because Holly and I haven't actually known each other for that long. Holly came. I'll let you introduce yourself, Holly.
Yeah, I moved to the Northern Rivers, I think, it was only a few years ago. I moved over there looking for something new and something different. So was really looking to make new friends, develop a new community. And when I saw Queer Family's Facebook page pop up, I was like, this could be something really amazing. And the first event was a pajama party, and I was really taken by how so many of the events were away from sort of drinking spaces and that sort of party dominated space, which I love, but was also often looking for alternatives. So I came along to an event, met people, ended up meeting participants. In fact, Nina, who made that surfboard, I met and became friends with, who then, came home, became my friend, then exactly the same age as my daughter, my queer daughter. So came home and became friends with, my queer daughter, her straight partner, and we just kept growing a community. It's been really beautiful. So I got involved like that. It was just something I wanted to really be part of and keep contributing to. and grow and keep growing.
And you mentioned those stories of isolation and loneliness, as well as the events that you're running. So what's the focus of Queer Family and how do you address those things?
So I guess the key aims that we have are to reduce social isolation and to foster connection and to create safe spaces where people can come together, make friends, build relationships and not be so alone, and to build community together. Because I've come from a big city. I've been here for a few years now, but I've come from a big city, and you see yourself reflected around you. In Sydney, for example, you can walk down King Street and every other person appears visibly queer. There's lots and lots of validation for your identity. But in the regional areas, you don't see that. And it's really easy to feel like that you are alone and you are isolated. And we don't have, we certainly don't have a King Street or an Oxford Street or any of those sorts of places. We don't have our own gay bars. We don't have our own events and things like that. So we need to create that. And so we're all about creating the space for people to come and do what queers do when they get together and just create magic. And so many beautiful friendships have blossomed. And it's really gone in directions we had no idea would happen. But that's also the beautiful thing about doing a community-led, peer-led action. So it's been an amazing wild ride, that's for sure.
And what have you found have been some of the most popular events and activities?
Well, actually, probably one of the most amazing ones was the recent one we did for Mental Health Month, which was kayaking. It was a very Northern Rivers kind of event. We're out on the water. There's a lot of water around here. We have beautiful nature. And so a lot of different people came to that. And we had people from about 8 years old to up to about 70 turn up. And we had a really large turnout as well. And because of the funding from WayAhead, we were actually able to provide subsidised kayak hire. We wouldn't have been able to run this event without WayAhead. And because we do actually serve quite a low income, quite impoverished community in a lot of ways. So that meant that we had a lot of younger people turn up because they could actually afford to do something because we were subsidising it. And that was just an absolutely gorgeous day. We went for a row down the river. We started at Brunswick Heads, and it was a beautiful sunny day. It was actually a long weekend. I didn't plan that. That was a big mistake. But what it meant was that Bruns was packed with people, and we just queered up the river. So there was queers as far as the eye could see, just out there on the water, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful event. So that's been one of my favourite. Holly, what's been one of your favourites?
I think one of my favourites, again, was just so nature-based because we're around all that beauty. When we did that big hike through Minion Falls, and which was an event that was further inland, and because some people don't have transport and because of time pressures, etc., we keep moving events as well, which means we're catching, different people. But the big hike, that big day hike, captured, brought in a lot of people, and that was wonderful because everyone was just out there in the green talking. We were in a big group, but then of course it was more single file, so it enabled, more intimate conversations and just the magic of almost like not just community therapy, but green therapy, which is why a lot of us are up there. And I thought that was a really, really magical day. And added with that thing where at the end you're physically tired, so your body's in a relaxed state, but you're enlivened because you've connected and you've, had a very happy day. I thought that was really magical. That was a beautiful event.
Both sound incredible and really speak to your use of the word family, making those connections that are, big groups, but also smaller, intimate conversations. And especially, I love that queering up Brunswick. And and that thing about reflecting identities and having that reflected in a big group is really powerful.
Yeah.
We did some research earlier this year. Actually, we were very fortunate. An independent research company did research for us pro bono, and one of the things that we found from that was we actually are reaching quite a wide audience, but who aren't coming to the events, but they're still getting a lot of benefit from it, and it is around that visibility. So one of the quotes that springs to mind is about the smiling, happy faces that people see when we post photos from our events. Obviously, we do that with consent.